Lego. Yeah. Don't know. Oh yeah. It's the original Batman. One time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Ashley Empowers. I'm Ashley, and thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Single, Saved, and Secure. So the purpose of this series is to showcase and highlight individuals who are preparing for marriage by keeping God first and walking in purpose. Before we hop into today's episode, I did want to let you know that on Sunday, June 14th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'm going to be hosting a completely free online class called Husband Season. In this class, I'm going to be teaching you how to truly prepare for marriage and how to attract a quality mate. Now, in order to join us, you have to be registered. Simply go to ashleyempowers.com/husband season or click the link in the description box below. So without further ado, I'm super excited about today's guest, Anthony O'Neal. Let's get into it.
Oh, Ashley, thank you so much for having me on. I've been looking forward to being on your show and looking forward to talking about single, saved, and secure.
Yes.
Be saved.
Yes. So for those who don't know who you are, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
My name is Anthony O'Neal. I am a national best-selling author, speaker, traveling around the world helping young, specifically between the ages of 18 and 34, and how to really avoid debt, get out of debt, and start building wealth. And that's really my heart and passion. And that came from just really me making the wrong decisions at a very young age in that 18 to 19-year-old bracket. Trying to impress the wrong people, trying to impress the wrong ladies, and didn't really stay true to my calling and to my purpose that God has given me, and ended up homeless by the age of 19, $35,000 in debt, sleeping in the back of my car, taking baths at the at the Boys and Girls Club or the YMCA, and just trying to figure things out here and there. And so today I'm 35 years old, just completely paid off all my debt a few years back, and just built my dream home out in Columbia, Tennessee, and really have a heart to really teach people in general how to deal with their finances God's way, and how to live within their purpose. So that's good about myself.
I love that. So were you raised in a single parent or a two-parent household?
So I was actually raised in a 4-parent household.
Okay.
So my biological parents never got married. They had me outside of wedlock. And so my biological mother and other father, I hate the term stepfather and step-parent, they live in San Diego, California, and I have 2 other siblings with them. And then my biological father and other mother live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so they did a great job actually parenting me all together. I spent half of my life with my biological mom and family out in California. And then I spent my high school and a little bit of my adult life with my parents in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And so I think what some people say, well, you know, my parents weren't together. I was actually blessed and privileged to have 4 truly firm Black parents.
Okay. So you would say that you were provided a healthy example of what a healthy, thriving marriage looks like.
Yeah, I would say I was provided a healthy example, but 2 different examples, because the way my biological father and mother in North Carolina treat themselves and have a relationship is totally different from the way my biological mother and other father have a relationship. My mother is a very firm, strong, get the job done type woman. When normally I think that should come from the man. Not calling my other father soft, but my mother is the firm, let's get it done. I'll go work 3 jobs so my kids could have a good Christmas. You know, I'll come home from work and cook, clean, do all the stuff. But then that strength came from my father on my biological father and stepmother side. Mm-hmm. And so I had a good example. And what I'm doing now is bridging all 4 of those together into my one. So when I do find my wife, I'm going to bring the best of both worlds into this situation.
Yeah. So why do you think you're still single now? You're established, you're debt free, built your dream home. Why are you still single?
Really, Ashley? You gonna ask me that question? You know, that's the question a lot of singles do not like. But this is your show, so I'll answer it. I think a part of that is because I was engaged 5 years ago to an amazing woman, And the only reason why we did not get married is because she didn't want to have any more kids. She already had two, and she was about 11 years older than me. And I knew that if I married this man, that I will be upset moving forward. And so when she revealed to me that she didn't want kids in our engagement, I decided to walk away from the relationship so that way I won't grow envy and I won't be upset.
Yeah.
And so after walking away from that relationship, I needed time to heal. And I believe that single people, we do not like being alone. So we'll leave one relationship, jump into another, and then jump into another. And I knew that I was hurt and I needed time to heal and to really regain myself. So I took a couple of years off just to focus on my new career at the time. I had just transitioned to Nashville, Tennessee to be with Dave Ramsey and the Speakers Group team. And then I also needed time to heal. Now that I'm single and I'm ready to date and I'm ready to find that one, I just think it's just about finding the right one that is well balanced, saved, and practical, to be real with you. You know, I want to marry a beautiful, God-fearing woman, not just a God-fearing woman.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And it's interesting because I've been married for 6 years and I get questions all the time whether or not people should settle when it comes to looks just because they want to marry someone who is a believer. But I think that God will bless you with someone that you're attracted to. So that's great that you come from that perspective that you too want to make sure that it's someone you're attracted to. So what are some of your non-negotiables as a Christian man? So not only are you Christian, you work in the financial industry. Is being having debt, is that a non-negotiable? What are some of your non-negotiables?
Oh man, I could tell you've done your research. Okay. No, yeah, I teach finances, but I haven't always been debt free. So I'm not saying that my future wife has to be debt free. No, but what I am saying, what I am looking for, what is a non-negotiable, is if she comes to the table with debt, cool. If she comes to the table with debt and says, I don't care about it, and I just want to rack up more, yeah, she can't rock with your boy because I want freedom. I want to build legacy. I want to build wealth. And the gap between where I am today and building wealth will be debt. And so I don't want to marry someone with debt. I believe debt just robs us of our dreams. Another non-negotiable is I will not date outside of my religion. So if she is not a Christian, then she can't rock with your boy. If she's not sweet, I hate those strong, firm, think they all that and just, they're not sweet. Because when you look at a woman, when y'all smile, it just does something to a man. And so if she looks at me and I feel like I'm in trouble, I need a little bit of sweetness.
She has to be feminine.
Yes, no tomboyish, no. Now you can wear Jordans and still be beautiful, but nah. Then the last one, which is it's your show. Can I be real with you on your show?
Please be real.
About this, you show?
Yes.
She has to be sexy. Now, when I say sexy, I'm not talking about in a carnal way. I'm talking about she has to really believe and walk with a spirit of boldness and just be a beautiful woman who cares about her body. I work out every single day, and I want a woman that also values the body that God has given.
Absolutely. Those are some great non-negotiables. How has God played a role in your pursuit of a wife? So for instance, okay, so let me ask, before you answer that question, let me ask this. So in the millennial generation, a lot of people are having issues on where to find people. Do you have that issue, or do you feel, are you the type of person who are like, you know what, I prefer offline dating, I prefer to meet someone in person, or are you team plenty of fish, dating apps? What's your stance on that?
I don't have a problem with people who use dating apps. You will not find Anthony O'Neal on dating apps. Okay. But I'm not going to sit here and tell someone who doesn't have my platform. I believe that there's too much that my platform can actually get into that can hurt from dating apps. So my personal preference is in person, or meet you through a friend, or just meet you at church, or just meet you out there in normal. But I believe there are some negative things that come with dating apps. But do not get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I know several people who use dating apps, and it's worked for them. But for me, that's just not something that I want to dive into.
Okay.
So, no.
And another question that I frequently get is the topic of women approaching men. So you're not going to be found on the dating apps, but what if someone says, I really like the content that Anthony is posting on his Instagram. Let me try to shoot my shot in a DM. Like, is that a turn off for you? Is that a no? Or are you open to people reaching out to you? Or do you believe that the book of Proverbs says a man who finds the wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord? Or are you okay with a woman making the first move?
When you say the first move, Ashley, help me understand. What do you mean by the first move, though? Are we saying you're handsome, or let's go out on a date, or hey, I like you, nice post, or something like that? What's your definition of the first move?
Approaching you, and let's just use social media because during this time that we're in, a lot of people are connecting online and on social media. So let's say someone DMs you and they say it's clearly a DM that maybe they're complimenting you on your mission, but you can tell they're inquiring a little bit more about you personally.
I'm with it.
Okay, you're with it.
I'm with it, because that's not pursuit. So if you compliment me, that's fine. Allow me to pursue, because I do believe that a man who finds his wife finds his great thing. And I think oftentimes this generation of young people get confused. Find means that if I drop a penny on the floor and someone comes behind me and they find it, they were on their calling. They were doing their purpose. And so what I tell young ladies is to do this. Don't look for a man. If you see a man and you're doing your thing for God, you're on your line, you're within God's perfect will for your life, and a man finds you, and let's say, for an example, you compliment him on social media, like, man, you're handsome and I love what you're about. That's cool. That's not a pursuit. Now let the man pursue you, because every man wants to feel like Superman. Every man wants to feel like he pursued, he earned this, he worked for this. The moment you take that away from him, the man will not respect you. So if you want to be respected and valued and taken care of, yes, compliment. My publicist and I get into this conversation all the time, Heidi. Tell her the same thing, but let the man pursue, but there's no problem with the man complimenting. But it's so funny, though, because if a man compliments a woman and he's just genuinely trying to compliment from a respectful place, now we trying to holler, and that's not always the case. So this is your show. I'm not going to go into that deep.
No, that's true.
Several times by just saying, just complimenting her and sliding her DM saying, yo, that was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Oh, you trying to holler? No, I'm not trying to holler. I was just trying to say, yo, as a woman, you look beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, wow, but don't pursue me. Let me do the pursuit.
So a question I have is, do you ever feel as if, do you ever cry out to God for being single? Clearly you're walking in purpose, you're doing your thing, but do you ever feel like, okay, Lord, where is she? So many women have this desire to be married that they almost feel incomplete without being with someone. But do you ever wonder, God, where is she? When is this going to happen?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, there are seasons to where I'm like, God, okay, I'm getting sick and tired of this. I'm ready to be a husband. I'm ready to be a provider, a protector. I'm ready to be a father. I'm ready to have to educate my son on how to play golf, or talk to him and have the father and son deep conversations. I'm ready for that. So there are seasons that I go home and I literally have to sometimes physically and mentally and spiritually cry out to God and say, God, what's going on? But here's the thing that I tell young people. I think that we have a lot of single people who are not single. Let's think about that. We have a lot of single people who are not single. And the word single just means whole. It's whole. If I give you 4 quarters and ask for a single, you're not going to give me back 4 quarters. You're going to give me back a single dollar bill. And so I think oftentimes what we have to do is, before I get tired of when I hear people say, well, I'm incomplete without my husband, or I'm incomplete without my wife. Well, no, you need to be complete. You need to be single. You need to be whole. So that way, when your husband comes or when you find your wife, you are whole, she is whole, and together now you become one.
Yeah.
And so, I am single, I am whole, but I'm ready to find my best thing.
Yes. So, how did you get to the point of having that mindset? Because that is a very mature way of thinking about relationships. I know you're 35 years old, and a lot of men who are your age and beyond don't have that wisdom. How did you get, are you reading books on relationships? Like, how did you get that wisdom?
You know, here's the thing. When it comes to my spiritual walk with Christ, is I ask him, God, before you give me a woman, give me wisdom and knowledge. Okay. So that way I may grow. And within asking God for wisdom and knowledge, I've learned that I need to surround myself around some married men. And so when I got around married men and started having conversations with them, they really started educating me on some things that I thought I knew, but I really had no idea. So my friendships, my circle of people are not all single people, because single people, we all think the same.
Right.
So I've had to grow up and put myself around married men, and not just married men, and be real with you, not just black married couples, but even white married couples. There are some things that I've learned from my white married couple of friendships that I would not have learned from my parents, that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring a little bit of that over here too, because I like that. I like how they did that. And so I think exposure, staying in my word, and then 3, seeing a therapist. I think seeing a therapist is frowned upon. But as a single person, especially in my space, I'm able to go to someone and talk 100% transparent and work things out in my brain before I even get to my wife. So that way, when I get there, I'm thinking correctly. I'm not waiting for something to go down. I'm addressing issues inside my brain, because I am not perfect. No one is perfect.
Right.
And so I'm doing pre-med before I actually get into something and I need someone to help me out.
Yeah, and thank you so much for your transparency and sharing that. And I love your proactive approach to preparing for marriage. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show. So as we wrap up, I heard in one of your interviews that you said that you would ask a woman to split the check on the first date. I think it was the 2 options were either splitting the check on the first date or using a gift card that your mom got you, and you were like, no, I would 100% ask her to split the check. So do you believe that the man should be the one to pay on the first date?
Absolutely. Listen,
Okay.
that was a fun segment on my show. I just wanted to add a little bit of creativity. That last segment is called Would You Rather? It's a Savor Cave thing on my show. And so everyone was saying, yeah, I'm going to use a gift card. And I just wanted to add a little spice up at the end. But let me say this. I always would pay for the first day, and actually several of the days. Actually, pretty much the majority of the days I will be paying. That's just something that I've been taught. But there's nothing wrong with splitting the dates, neither, though. There really isn't. I don't think a man is less of a man because he needs to split the bill. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with a woman stepping up and paying for the date as well. So, but for Anthony O'Neal, I will be paying for all of my dates.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because I was like, wait a second. Thank you for clarifying. Okay, so I have a couple of rapid fire questions that I'm going to ask you. So get ready. So the first one, what's your favorite meal to cook?
Favorite meal to cook?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's a good one. Spaghetti.
Okay. Hidden talent.
Hidden talent? I can sing.
Oh, okay. Your favorite travel destination?
Greece.
Okay. Favorite book in the Bible?
I would definitely say Proverbs.
Okay. And last one, what is your least favorite thing about social media?
Everybody has an opinion, but you're not bold to say it in my face.
Okay. All right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for this interview. It was a pleasure. If people want to learn more about what you're doing and where they can find you, can you give us some information?
Yeah, please join me on Instagram or YouTube. Both of the names are at Anthony O'Neal. YouTube, I'm dropping some financial wisdom every single day for millennials. IG, I'm just keeping it transparent with whatever's on my heart around money and millennials. So come holler at your boy and you'll learn a lot.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of Single, Saved, and Secure. If you liked this episode, please be sure to hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and feel free to email me if you have other recommendations on who you would like to see on the show. We'll see you guys soon.